Why you must buy land banking is because if you're thinking of sustainability, transfer, real estate, and you are thinking of wealth, land banking can actually make you a billionaire. Just wait. The truth is, when it comes to land banking, I want you to watch this video of what happened in New Jersey. It was actually an hotel apartment that was pulled down. And I was wondering why it was pulled down. Then in the comment section, I saw very interesting things. Everybody said it is pulled down to be rebuilt. The building is gone, but the land remained. That's just to let you know that in trying to start your real estate journey, there is one aspect of real estate you should fight to own. It is called a piece of land. Lands are not being created anymore. Even if I know there's reclamation, but a piece of land can move from one generation to another. That is why one of the properties you should never sell is your landed property. And that brings me to why land banking is profitable. Because once you have the land, you have the ownership. Even when the house comes down, the land can still be there. A place like Nigeria, let's take Ikoyi. One piece of land has moved from one generation. The father owned it, the house, they're tired. The sons came, developed a new project. They too are tired. Their grandchildren, I know of a family right now, is their grandchildren that are trying to build and partnering with people to do what? A 28-story building from one land, 3 generations. So when I see people begin to talk about land banking and after like 1 year, 2 years, they want to sell, I think because they don't understand the concept of buying a piece of land. I recently had a very interesting day.
Okay, because I understand. Are they going to decide? She's only madam that will be inside. She's only. You can get JJ.
So this Okada story, let me tell you what happened. It's actually a piece of land in Lagos, Nigeria that had good title documentation, but the only challenge was the land was a bit far from the express. And I was trying to get to the land to see that all is well. The road was no longer motorable. And because I know how precious a piece of land is, Grace Ofure climbed Okada. It's not the Okada you should think about. You should think about how important a piece of land is. And if you do not have a piece of land, go to the comment section. Let's know you don't have. Somebody might just be here to dash you one piece of land. Land is very important. But these are very 5 mistakes that people make trying to acquire land. 1, thinking that your land that you acquired in the bush, that is why we say buy and wait. You can actually sell almost immediately, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. No, you cannot. Because the reason why you can't sell like that is because there is no what? Scarcity. When there is no scarcity, then your buyers are not as much as when there is scarcity. But when there is scarcity, your profit is not as much as when there is no scarcity. You see? So you need to understand is 1 to 1. The estate where I live in was sold years and years back for 2 million. Today it is 300 million. but it's like 30 years ago. You know, so you need to understand that, because in my estate now, if I give a piece of land out in Victory Park today, in less than 5 days, you will get the money. Why? Scarcity. But that is no longer a land bank. It's just a preservation of money. Or those that did the land bank now need to convert their lands to money. The second problem is thinking that your land is where you put your money of your school fees or money of your next rent or money. It is not going to work. A land bank is projected at least 10 to 30 years. Yes. But one thing you must do is to keep the place habitable. What I mean is, if you look at the lands that we have far, so let's take, for example, this particular property. Just look at all that I had to say when I finally got there. We have finally gotten to the road, Grand Haven Road, World Garden. So for years, they have been doing the road. Now we have finally gotten to the parcel of our property. But I want to use this to teach a lot of people what land banking is. And in this video, we're going to put a stop that's calculating from this express, from where we are to the express, so you can see how long it is. On our way, we're going to show what is happening, how that airports, they've started doing some work. And in my series of the scam of land banking, is that what a lot of people do is that they show you the express, they show you some things they have done. You say infrastructure. I saw some infrastructure on my way here now. Those infrastructure of table tennis or lawn tennis is a forest. Before human beings will begin to nobody's going to use that lawn tennis, because development may not come here for I don't know how long. But what you should understand, that when it comes to land banking, is documentation you buy. So if you have a land like this, you do your governor's consent, you keep your document. As you see this bush, every year the price is increasing. But there is no scarcity. Show them, there's no scarcity. So if there's no scarcity, reselling cannot be immediately 1 year, 2 years. It's not possible. You can resell, though. First of all, the reselling will take some effort. Second of all, you might not be able to. So this kind of property in Lagos State that you buy in 2 million, 5 million, it is not a property that is for today. And that is what land banking is. So what I would advise anybody that's buying land bank like this, as we finish the fencing we clear, you do your fence. Like that houses we had just now, you saw those village women. You will not dash them the houses to stay in Abi, so that they will keep the environment for you, maybe like a small Paco house. You keep your title 20 years time, or you give it to your children. That is what they call land banking. So the idea of somebody just you need to tell yourself the truth. I have land that I could not even reach the place. I've not reached the place. They are pointing again. But my consent is in my wardrobe. Safe, lock. Because it's directly to me. Even I can give it to the children. That is what you buy in a state like Lagos State. Documents. And that is why when we take some time to bring that document, you're in a hurry. Because the documents in Lagos State don't come out like that. So if you say somebody else has given me documents, you have to go and verify that it's not a double survey or double paper. I will not change what will cause me problem because I want to please people. When Lagos State finally, now they can start coming here, doing the partitioning, then their surveyors will now begin to peg and documents will start to come out. So, if you are thinking of buying land banking, we are no longer selling anything less than 5 acres. Because I think that when you buy 5 acres, you are in a mindset of an investor. An investor think long term, not short term. We are directly opposite efforts. I just want to imagine the guys that bought close to where Computer Village and those people are close to that. Do you know how much those properties are now? But they waited. Real estate is patience, is sustainability, is more of transfer. It is not a get quick rich. I remember I recently saw that people are trying to do get quick rich, pay baba. Now, I hear if ESCC. The truth is, you have to be patient. Don't buy to sell tomorrow morning. Be buying, be accumulating, but get your consent. This land has sea of food, yes. So the reason why we are saying only 5 acres is that so the person that owns 5 acres, you can do your consent in your name, because it's a lot of money, a lot of profits. But I think that in the years I've spent, I'm almost 2 decades in real estate. Real investors are people that are willing and ready to wait for a long time. So for me to be able to know you're a real investor, it has to be 5 acres. Welcome back. That is where the new airport is coming to. Do you think that when the international airport in Ikeja used to be a land bank, people did not own it around the neighborhood? They did, but they were patient enough to make the airport come. Stop buying land bank and thinking that in 3 years, 4 years, you can get your money back. You will be selling at little or no profit. So when somebody says, come and buy a land bank, you need what I call understanding the meaning of land banking. Land banking is, for me, future and kids. And I'll tell you exactly how I play my land banking game. I actually bought some land for my kids' school fees. And when they are 18, and I bought it when they were 12. So, top of my head, they will be 16 years later. And funny enough, I sold some after 18 years, and some I have refused to sell because lands are not growing again. So the third thing is understanding that the state or the country where you buy the land will determine how to leave the land fallow or habitable. A place like Lagos. Lagos is not a village. So no matter where you have bought your property in Lagos, something in the Sea of O says you need to take possession, and you now ask, if you buy a land of 3 million naira, construction of roads, light, water for a 600 square meter is over 20 or 30 million. I know of a particular land somewhere in Lakwe that is sold by a pastor. He bought it like 20 years ago, and kept the place, and later he started to do the road. He didn't do the infrastructure 20 years ago because it won't make any financial sense. But what are you expected to do in a place like Lagos when you want this land for future? Because now it might not be profitable. There are a lot of people looking for accommodation in Lagos. Even in this video, see where we found people. These people here will be very excited if for any reason you come and build them just a simple house. You don't need to plaster. Just put the blocks, just put the roof, and they could actually even pay you rent. But what are you doing? You are staying in that place as a security to keep the property. Because legally in Lagos State, you are not supposed to leave the land fallow, or you get farmers to farm on the land. So don't be in a hurry to sell because you cannot put in another money to construct, but rather be strategic about what you want to do with the property so you don't have stories that touch. Another thing is not buying property that has the proper document. And I'm going to talk about 3 types of documents you can have when it comes to land banking. Number 1 is your receipt. Receipt is a receipt of payment that you collect from whoever you bought the land from. The second document is a contract of sale, showing that there is a contract between the first and the second. The third document is supposed to be a survey. But right now in Lagos State, because of the scam and so many things about land, Lagos State now by themselves send surveyors to plot the land that you are buying, because survey is more than a blue paper. It's actually a navigation document. But the challenge is a lot of people outside of our country actually have surveys that are not real. Those surveys are not registered. And sometimes the developer has to quickly give you a survey because you are on their neck. My dear, do not buy property from a company you don't trust, so you don't put yourself under pressure running after them. They will end up making you excited and giving you what is not real. I will not. I've waited for some surveys for 1 year, 1 year plus, and they say, I have not gotten my document for whatever. For whatever, the people are not ready to bring out the document. Doesn't mean that the land is not genuine. So once you get a survey, if the land already has a CFO, what you have is a deed of assignment. Sometimes the deed of assignment is done by the original owners, those that the CFO came to, which is sometimes good. Deed of assignment can also be done by the company, but then your deed of assignment, if it's a land you want to keep for a very long time, the CFO is actually in the name of whoever you bought the property from. Know that whoever you bought this property from cannot change their CFO to your name. So if you see an advert to say, I'm going to have my own CFO for a land that already has a CFO, that's another scam. They just say that to you because you are just in Chelsea. That CFO, that CFO. Once a land already has a CFO in Africa, what you can do in a place like Lagos is that you cannot have a CFO on a CFO. You go and register governor's consent, which means in this parcel of CFO, I have this portion, and you go and register. How much is the registration depends on how much you bought the land and the size of the land. Lagos State will give you what, I'm using Lagos State as the case scenario, they will give you what the registration is all about. Then lastly, which is in land banking, the fifth thing is when it's unnecessarily cheap. So even obtaining CFO in Lagos State right now is close to like 4 million, even more, without land. So if anybody comes to you and say they have a CFO land for you that is less than 5 million, run, because I don't know how they are going to get it. So it's important that you know that before you take that next step of buying a landed property, you need to check these things. And most importantly, land is something you buy and you forget about it, and go and work more and keep buying, and go and work more and keep buying, and go and work more and keep buying. Not until you are financially free, don't stop buying piece of land, because very soon you might not be able to get, and if you don't get, obviously means that your kids can never have a piece of land. So you do not just buy land because you want to multiply your money. You buy land for legacy purpose. And let me shock you. If you are in Africa, if you are in Nigeria, if you are from Nigeria, there is so much foreigners buying up our properties. Yes, farmlands, they are buying up our properties. Please, if you are anywhere outside of Nigeria and you have the money, you do your country well by coming to buy instead of allowing foreigners to buy. Because what then will happen is that you are already a slave in their country, and if we continue to allow them, you will also become a slave in your country. Because if they control the farming system, they will only send you food based on what they want to do, no longer based. So if you can see farmlands, you are seeing lands are being bought. I am in real estate, and because I do not even sell one plot of land again, I sell in acres. I know the people that are coming to buy large sum of land. They buy in billions, in millions of dollars, and they are not even Nigerian. Please, this is a call to all Nigeria, because I see in future, if we allow this to continue to happen because of the challenges that we have, and we are not coming to buy up our land, buy up our farms, very soon you will become a slave in your own country. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video. Please love, like, share, and keep following. God bless.